is one of the most infamous murder cases in the history of the United States and led to what many consider to be the trial of the 20th century. Hello everyone, my name is Anya, and in this video we're going to take a look at what happened on this day in the year 1994. The murders of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. On the 12th of June 1994, 35-year-old Nicole Brown returned to her home in Brentwood, California after having an evening out with her children and her mother. At around 10:55 p.m, a neighbour spotted Nicole's dog acting agitated outside her property. Upon going round to investigate, they were horrified to find the lifeless body of Nicole Brown lying in the doorway of her house. Even more shockingly, just a few feet away lay the lifeless body of 25-year-old Ronald Goldman, a waiter who had become friends with Nicole in the weeks prior to their deaths. It was clear that Nicole and Ronald had suffered a horrific death. Both had been stabbed multiple times, and Nicole's neck had been severed so deeply she was almost decapitated. Police were called and an investigation was immediately launched. There were no signs of any burglary inside the house, and Nicole's children were found asleep and unharmed in their bedrooms. Investigators believed that Nicole was the main target of the attack and Ronald Goldman had been murdered as he tried to intervene. Suspicions turned to Nicole's ex-husband, American football player and actor O.J. Simpson. Nicole Brown and O.J. Simpson had been married from 1985 to 1992 and they had 2 children together. But their relationship was far from a happy one. There were multiple reports of domestic abuse and violence that continued even after their divorce. Nicole was said to be fearful of her ex-husband and what he could do to her. On the 17th of June 1994, the day after Nicole's funeral, a warrant was placed for the arrest of O.J. Simpson. But rather than turn himself in, Simpson led police on a wild chase from Los Angeles to his home in Brentwood. Upon arriving in Brentwood, Simpson finally surrendered and he was arrested and charged with the murders of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. The trial began on the 24th of January 1995 and continued until the 3rd of October. The prosecution, which included Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden, pointed out to the multiple reports of domestic abuse and Nicole's fear of her ex-husband. Meanwhile, the defence, which included Robert Shapiro and Robert Kardashian, made claims of insufficient evidence and racism. The trial of O.J. Simpson captured the nation's attention. Many television networks devoted multiple hours to the public's opinion and speculation on Simpson's guilt. On the 3rd of October 1995, O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of the murders of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. The nation was divided on the verdict. Some believed that he was guilty, others believed that he was innocent. The friends and families of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman were devastated by the verdict. They all agreed that O.J. Simpson was responsible for the murders. Despite being found not guilty at his trial, the reputation of O.J. Simpson was irreversibly destroyed, with many believing that he got away with 2 counts of murder. In the years following the trial, there has been speculation as to whether O.J. Simpson was really not guilty of the crime. Robert Kardashian, who passed away in 2003, admitted to having his doubts about Simpson's innocence. He ultimately severed all ties with his former friend. O.J. Simpson's legal troubles did not stop after the trial. He was later found responsible for the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman in a civil suit and ordered to pay $33.5 million to their families. In 2007, he was apprehended on charges of armed kidnapping and robbery, and he was sentenced to 33 years in prison. In 2017, he was released on parole after serving 9 years of his sentence. On the 10th of April 2024, O.J. Simpson died of cancer at the age of 76. There is no doubt that this is one of the most infamous murder cases in the history of the United States. The miniseries The People vs. O.J. Simpson offers an interesting insight into the murders, the trial, and how it impacted those who were involved. While the trial of O.J. Simpson is considered by many to be the trial of the 20th century, it's important to remember who the real victims were in this case. They were Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman. They should be remembered for the lives that they lived, and not for their horrific deaths that were occurred on the 12th of June 1994. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. My name is Anya, and we just looked at what happened on this day.